Hello everyone. In the previous class, we have discussed about ports and port declaration. In today's class, we are going to discuss about port connection rules. So we have two different type of units. One is internal unit and another one is the external unit. So we can connect these internal and external units. But there are some rules to connect these internal and external units when they are going to be instantiated within the another module. So every module has its internals and its external. They can be connected. So the Verilog simulator complains if any port connection rules are violated. So we are going to discuss about these rules. First, let us see the figure, the port connection rules. So consider a module. A box is a module in which we have internal unit, which is nothing but an internal unit. So we have three different type of ports: input port, output port, and in out. So external to the box is external unit for that module. So again we have the connections for that one. So for connecting the two different modules, internal to external, we have some rules. First one is inputs. So recall that figure. Internally, input ports must always be of type net. So it should be a wire or wire related data type. So internally, input ports must be a type net only. So externally, the inputs can be connected to a variable, which is, it can be a register type, that is reg, or it can be a wire, that is net. So this is about inputs. So inputs internally, it should be a net only, and externally it can be a reg or net. Outputs. Internally, output port can be of the type reg or net. Remember here, output ports internally, they can be either register type or it can be a net. But externally, output must always be connected to a net. So they cannot be connected to a reg type. Third one is in out. So in out is a bidirectional. So internally as well as externally, the in out can be net only. That is, type is net only. It cannot be a reg. So internally, in out ports must always be of the type net, and externally in out ports must be always be connected to a net only. So remember these three rules: inputs, outputs, and in-outs. So this is very important for connecting two different type of modules, from internal to external or external to internal. Width matching. Suppose if you declare internal and external items with a different size, so then few compilers may give error. But in Verilog, the simulator, even though if the internal size and external size is different, it will not give a error. It will just give you the warning. That means it is legal to connect internal and external items of different sizes when making inter-module port connections. Even though if the size mismatches from internal to the external, it is legal, but only thing is that it will give you the warning, and warnings are allowed in the simulation, but errors are not allowed. Remember this, the difference between the warning and error. Here it is going to give you the warning. That means it is legal to have the different size of input, internal and external ports. Then we can have the unconnected ports also. So Verilog allows ports to remain unconnected. So what do you mean by this? Even though if you have a port declared, but if you are not using that one in your instantiation part, so it is going to be allowed. So Verilog allows port to be remain unconnected. So we can see an example. Consider a full add 4 example where we have a instant called as FA0. So as we know, the different ports in the full adder is sum, cout, a comma b comma cin. So here while debugging, you might not be interested to connect them to the external signals. So you can let a port remain unconnected by instantiating a module as shown in the example. That is full add 4 sum comma cout is missing here, a comma b comma cin. While declaring, we have declared a cout, but we are not instantiating the cout, so we have left unconnected that cout port. So output port cout is unconnected. So this is allowed in Verilog HDL. Next, we can see the example of the illegal port connection. So what do you mean by illegal port connection? You cannot do this port connection, so which is nothing but it is illegal. It will give you the error. So unless and until you are not going to correct the error, it will not proceed. So what is that illegal port connection? So to illustrate that port connection, assume that the module full add 4. So the same full adder, 4-bit full adder, full add 4 that previously we have instantiated in the stimulus block, which is called as top. Top is the name of the module. So example, below example shows an illegal port connection. So observe this. So top module top. So this is one of the module in which we have declared connection variables. That is, we have 3 inputs A, B, C in. So that we have declared as reg in top module. Why? Because internally the inputs can be a reg or net. So 3 down to 0, a comma b, reg cin. Now see, reg 3 down to 0 sum wire cout. Now observe here, instantiate full add 4. So here the instant name is FA0, in which we have full add 4 FA0 sum comma cout comma a comma b comma cin. This is the instantiation part. So see here what is illegal in this. So illegal connection because output port sum in module full add 4 is connected to a register variable sum in module top. So as we can see in the module top, we have declared sum as reg. Here sum cannot be reg here. That's why it is illegal. Why it cannot be reg? You just observe the port connection rules that we have just discussed. So port connection rules, externally it should be only a net. It cannot be reg. That's why unless and until you are not going to declare sum as a net type, it will give an error. That's why it is illegal. So to avoid this, to solve this problem, the variable sum must be declared as a net. That is nothing but a wire. When you declare sum as wire, so the problem will be solved. So to understand in a better way, you just go through that figure again, the port connection rules, in which input and output and in out, how they are connected, just observe. So which is internal to the module and which is external to the module. Here the module top is a external module. So for connecting output to the external module, so the rule says that it is only can be a net. So output must always be connected to a net, but we have connected the output, that is sum, to the reg here. That's why it is illegal. Now next topic, connecting ports to external signals. So here there are two different type of methods for making the connections between the signals specified in the module instantiation and the ports in the module definition. So as we know that we always use two different type of modules. One is module definition, which is the basic module, and to execute that module or to run the module or to observe the results, we require another module which is called as a stimulus block, or it is a test bench. So for making the connection between those two modules, the signals between those signals between the module instantiation and the ports in the module definition, there are two different types. So these two methods cannot be mixed here. Remember here, if you are using one method, you have to use the same method only. It cannot be mixed. So which are those two different type? The first one is the connecting by order list, and the second one is the connecting ports by name. So remember here, connecting by order list and connecting ports by name. The first one, connecting by order list. So connecting by order list is the most easiest method or most correct method for the most beginners. So as you are new to the subject and you are learning for the first time, you can use this method, that is by order list. So the signals to be connected must appear in the module instantiation to the in the same order as the ports in the port list in the module definition. So as we know that we have two different modules, module definition and stimulus block. So in both the modules, the signals must be in the same order. So suppose first signal whatever you are using in one particular module, the same signal must be used in the another module. So that is nothing but a order list. Once again consider the same example, that is full adder 4. So in which to connect signals in the module top is a stimulus block or it is a test bench. So to connect the signals in the module top by order list, the Verilog code is shown in the next slide. So notice that the external signal sum, cout, A, B and seen. So all are capital letters here. Just observe, these are the identifiers. Identifiers can be written using small case letters or capital letters. It is case insensitive. So observe all these signals, external signals appear in the exactly same order as the ports sum, cout, A, B, and seen in the module definition of full add 4. So as we have two different modules, module top and module full add 4, all these signals, all the 5 signals sum, cout, A, B, seen are going to appear in the same order. Same order means suppose sum you are writing in the first position in module top, then in the module definition, that is in module full add 4 also, the sum should be at the first position only. Like this the order is maintained. Observe the example that is connection by order list. Now observe here the module top. In module top we have declared a connection variables. So declaration is different, so you can declare it anyway. Reg A, B 3 down to 0 A, B, reg seen, wire 3 down to 0 sum, and wire cout. So same declaration as we have done previously. Now instantiation part, just observe here, instantiation of full add 4, call it FA ordered. So in the, as it is a order list, so signals are connected to the ports in the order, that is by position, first position, second position, third position, etc., in the same order or in the same position in both the modules. Now observe full add 4 FA ordered. FA ordered is a, just it is a instant name. In previously we have used FA0, as here we are discussing about the order list, the instance name is changed here. You can use FA0 only here also. So sum is in first position, Cout is in second position, then A, B, seen. This is the order, first sum and last is seen. So if you are using such an order in a module top, then in the module full add 4, the same order list is used, that is sum, Cout, A, B, seen. Observe here, the same order list is used, there is no change in the order. So output 3 down to 0 sum, output Cout, input 3 down to 0 A, B, input seen. So order list is same in both the modules. So this is connection by order list. The second one, connecting ports by name. So for large modules, suppose if you are designing a very large application in which there are n number of signals are available. So for example, say there are 50 signals are available. So remembering all those 50, the order of those, that is what is the position, first position, second position up to 50, is very difficult for the designers. Even though he may be a beginner or he may be very expert, it is just remembering and following the order is very difficult and it is impractical. So you may end up getting the error if you change the order unknowingly. So that's why Verilog provides one more method, that is connecting ports by their names. So Verilog provides the capability of connect the external signal to the ports by the port names, so rather than by the position. So here we could connect the ports by name as shown in the example, that is in the next slide. So the same example we are going to consider here again, that is full add 4. Here note that you can specify the port connection in any order as long as the port name in the module definition correctly matches the external signal. So see here, comment line, instantiate module FA by name and connect signals to ports by name. Observe there, full add 4 FA by name. FA by name is the instance now. Now just observe dot Cout in bracket Cout. So this is the way to connect the ports by name. So observe there how it is written. Small c underscores out is from the module definition, that is from the full adder. This is the instantiation part, only instantiation part is taken here, whereas capital C underscore out is from the module top. So to instantiate them, just write dot, then first the name in the module definition, then in bracket the same name in the module top. So this is how the connection by port rules. If you have more than one signal, then just put a comma to separate the signals. Same way here, Cout dot Cout in bracket Cout comma dot sum in bracket sum comma dot B dot seen. So this is the way connecting port by name. Either you can use this method or either you can use the order list, whichever is comfortable to the beginners, they can use them. Usually the first method is preferred. Note that only those ports that are to be connected to the external signals must be specified in port connection by name. Unconnected ports can be dropped. For example, if the port Cout were to be kept unconnected, the instantiation of the full add 4 would be looks as follows. The port C is simply dropped from the port list. So you can just drop the port C. So here full add 4 FA by name dot sum that Cout is missing here, dot B comma dot scene dot A comma A. Now observe here it is not in order. So the name, it is following the name. After scene, then directly A is used. In between B is used after the sum. The order is changed. Here only the name is important. Another advantage of connecting ports by name is that as long as the port name is not changed, the order of the port in the port list of a module can be rearranged without changing the port connection in a module instantiations. So here the advantage of connecting the ports by name. So what is an advantage? If you are not changing the name, the order of that port in the port list of a module can be rearranged. You can rearrange them. First position, second position, you can change it. There is no problem unless and until you are not changing the name. Last topic of the module, hierarchical names. So as we know, earlier we have described how Verilog supports the hierarchical design methodology. We have seen hierarchical design methodology in the module number 1. So in every module we have instance, signals, variables, data types, etc., which are going to be defined with the help of some identifiers, and we know that how to declare identifiers. They have also some rules. So a particular identifier has a unique place in the design hierarchy. So if you want to access any identifier, it is accessed by using the hierarchical names. That's why every identifier has its unique place in the design hierarchy. So how to access that unique identifier? By using the hierarchical naming reference that we are going to discuss here. The hierarchical name reference allows us to denote every identifier in the design hierarchy with a unique name. So a hierarchical name is a list of identifiers separated by dots. That is for each level of hierarchy. Suppose any level, suppose if you have 3 different levels of a hierarchy, every level is separated by a dot here. First, a root level identifier name is used, then followed by the next level, followed by the next level until it reaches the last level, and each level identifier name is separated by a dot. So if your level number of levels are more, your unique identifier name is going to be, hierarchical referencing name is going to be very long. Therefore, any identifier can be addressed from any place in the design by simply specifying the complete hierarchical name of that identifier. So see here, the top module is called as root module. So top module, or usually we can have the top module as a stimulus as a top module. So that module is nothing but a root module because it is not instantiated anywhere else. It is the starting point. So to assign a unique name to the identifier starting from the top level module, or it is a root level module, you can just go to the path along, that is trace the path along the design hierarchy to the desired identifier. Whichever the identifier that you want to refer, just go from the top to the bottom or anywhere in between, whichever identifier that you want to reference. So this is nothing but a hierarchical naming reference. So to clarify this process, we are going to consider an example, that is simulation of a SR latch example. So the design hierarchy is shown in the below figure. See here, The design hierarchy for SR latch simulation: stimulus, root level. Stimulus is a identifier name, so it is a root level. Under this we have left side, first level is SR latch M1. The name of the instance is M1. So under this M1 again we have two different levels, N1, N2, then again Q bar, S, R. So all these are under one level. Stimulus root level, we have another level, another path or another root, that is Q bar, set, reset. So these are the variables. Now remember this figure and try to trace along the path for hierarchical naming reference. So for this simulation, stimulus is the top level module. So as we know that in the figure, stimulus is a root level module or it is a top level module. Since the top level module is not instantiated anywhere, it is called as a root module, or it is a starting point. So stimulus is starting point in this example. So other identifiers are already we have just discussed: Q bar, set and reset. The root module instantiates M1, which is a module of type SR latch, and the module M1 instantiate and NAND gate N1 and N2. Q bar, S and R are port signals in instance M1. Now hierarchical name referencing assigns a unique name to each of the identifier. As we in the figure, it shows that there are number of identifiers. So each identifier has unique name. So to reference that unique name, we are going to use a hierarchical naming reference. To assign hierarchical names, use the module name, that is for the root module or the starting point it is, and instance names for all the module instances below the root module, and just separate them by a dot. So below example shows the hierarchical names for all the identifiers in the above simulation. So notice that there is a dot for each level of hierarchy from the root module to the desired identifier. So observe here the exact example of the hierarchical naming reference. So if you want to access the top level module, its name is stimulus, directly just stimulus. We do not have any other identifier. Suppose if you want to access Q bar, that is right side, then Q bar is under the stimulus. So stimulus is the starting point. Stimulus dot Q bar. Separate the two identifiers by dot. Similarly, Q, set and reset are under same level. So all those are going to be uniquely named, just like stimulus dot Q, stimulus dot set, stimulus dot reset, like this. Suppose if you want to name M1, then it will be stimulus dot M1. Now observe, you want to name the NAND gate N1 or NAND gate N2. So NAND gate N1 and N2 are under M1 and M1 is under stimulus. That's why the name is going to be hierarchical naming reference for this NAND 1 and NAND 2, that is N1 and N2 will be stimulus dot M1 dot N1 and stimulus dot M1 dot N2. Like this, the name will be unique. Then for Q bar, S and R signals, the hierarchical name will be stimulus dot M1 dot Q, stimulus dot M1 dot Q bar, stimulus dot M1 dot S, stimulus dot M1 dot R. Like this you can name them. So these are the examples of the hierarchical names. So each identifier in the design is uniquely specified by its hierarchical path name. So to display the level of hierarchy, use the special character %m that we have discussed about this in format specifier. That is %m is used to display the hierarchical naming reference by using the %m in the display task. That is $display task. If you want to display a hierarchical name, use the format specify %m and in the display task. Thank you for watching the video.